everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm cooking something that's a little more in detail, but it's a yummy dish, and it's not really that hard. It just has sections to it that you have to do. So what I'm going to cook for you today is meatball potato. It's a meatball potato bake, and so my thoughts were ahead of me. It's a Monday. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to do for you today. So let's get cooking. Okay, what you're going to want to do first is put your oven on 400 degrees and let it be warming up. And this recipe has 3 medium-sized potatoes. So you're going to want to peel them and put them in boiling water and cook them. I cooked mine about 12 minutes. They were almost done. They weren't totally done where if you stuck a knife in them they would break open, but they were like 3/4 way done. So you're going to want to do that first. You're going to want to boil your 3 potatoes, medium-sized potatoes, and get them about 3/4 way done. And then take them out and put them on your cutting board and let them be cooling. And next what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make your meatballs. So let me show you this. I already have my meatballs in the oven because they take about 20 minutes to cook on 400 degrees. So you're going to want to throw your meatballs together and get them in the oven. And what you will need for your meatballs is I'm using 1.5 pounds of hamburger meat. I got the 85/15 hamburger meat. I've got 1/2 cup of an onion, and I cut it up really fine. I've got 1 large egg. And then I added 1 teaspoon of salt. 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. And 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. Now what I did is I put that all in a bowl and I mixed it all together. And once I got it all mixed together, then I got me out a cookie sheet. I put parchment paper on it. If you don't have parchment paper, that's fine. And then I divided my hamburger meat mixture into 16 meatballs. And then I went ahead and rolled up the meatballs and I put them in the oven, which you can see right now they're baking. So my oven's on 400 degrees. My meatballs were all mixed together, the meat, rolled them into 16 meatballs, divided the meat out, then rolled them into 16 meatballs, and I put them in the oven, and right now they're presently cooking. I'll let you know when they're done how many minutes I cooked them, but my oven's on 400 degrees. Now while the meatballs are cooking and the potatoes are cooling, you can make your white sauce. And what I've used for it is 3 tablespoons of real butter, salted or unsalted, your preference. 4 tablespoons of regular flour. 2 cups of regular milk, some pepper, and some salt. So let's go ahead and make the white sauce. Okay, my potatoes had cooled, and I cut each potato into like a 1/4 inch round slice. And I've just got them on my cutting board just to cool. So you can go ahead and cut your potato up in a 1/4 inch round slices and let them be cooling while you make your white sauce. Now we're going to melt our butter first. While your butter is melting, you can get out a 9x13 baking dish and you can spray it with non-stick spray. Okay, my butter is melted. I'm going to go ahead and put my flour in. My fire's on like a medium high. For those of you whose ears are sensitive and always seem to want to tell me about how you can hear my utensils in my bowls or skillets or whatever, well, I'm sorry. It doesn't bother me, this sound, so. Okay, I'm gonna let that sit for a second or two before I put my milk in. I can smell the meatballs. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put our milk in. Turn my fire up a little higher, almost to high, so I can get it to go ahead and get it to thickening. So you can see I'm using the flat of my spatula to smush out the, for a better word, the lumps of flour so they can get mixed in. Some people like to use whisks. I like to use my spatula. I'm going to wait for it to get thick, which won't take very long. I have some extra milk in case I need to thin it out a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and put some pepper in it. And put some salt in it. You can put whatever spices you like. This is basically just a cream gravy, but they like to call it white sauce. So I'll be right back. Okay, that didn't take but about a minute to 2 minutes for it to get nice and thick. If it happened to turn out overly thick for you, all you would do is add a little water or more milk to thin it out. And if you got it too thin, then you just add some more flour to it and stir in the flour really good. But this came out really well, see? All right, so all we're waiting on is for the meatballs to be ready. So I'll be back when they're done. Okay, I cooked my meatballs, my 2-inch wide meatballs, on 400 degrees for 21 minutes, and they were done. So they've cooled. I've taken them out and I put them in my dish. I had to make my dish a little smaller because the meatballs shrank up. So fit your baking dish to the size of your meatballs. And what I've done is I've put the meatballs in here, and then I've taken my potato rounds, which are already cooked, and I've put them in between the meatballs, as you can see here. My dish is already sprayed with non-stick spray, so we're ready to go ahead and put the next thing on them. So what I've taken is I've taken some tomato paste and I've added water to it to make it more of a puree, and I've added salt and pepper, not salt, but excuse me, pepper and garlic, because the paste is probably already salty. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that on top of my meatballs. So this is a small can of tomato paste, and whatever tomato paste I don't use, I'm going to put it in a bag and I'm going to freeze it, and I can get it out and use it another time. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put like a spoonful of your tomato puree on top of your meatball. Now I'm thinking if you want to use spaghetti sauce instead, you probably can. Now I've turned my oven back down to 375. So you're going to want to do that. And like I said, if you don't use all of your tomato mixture, then you can freeze it. Even if it's spaghetti sauce and you don't use it all, just freeze it and you can use it another time. So there's no waste. But with my one small can of tomato paste with some water added to it, it's going to be just perfect. Yep, Just the right amount of tomato sauce puree. There we go. No waste. All right, what we're going to want to do next is, you can see all of my, it's gone. So what we're going to want to do next is take our white sauce and put some on top of that. I'm sure if you want to use Alfredo sauce, you can in a jar. I'm basically putting like 1 tablespoon on each one. All right, so we've just about got it all done. I'm going to take what I have left over, and I'm just going to pour it. Which wasn't very much. All right, all the white sauce is in there. Now what we're going to do next is, I have a bag of mozzarella cheese. It's not a very big bag. It's only 8 ounces, excuse me. And I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle that on top. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Just a small bag of mozzarella. Sprinkle it on top. And now what we're going to do is, we're going to put it back in our oven. And we're going to bake it. So we're basically going to bake it just until the cheese is melted and everything's bubbly, because your hamburger meatballs are already cooked, and so are your potatoes, so you don't have to cook them. And so we're going to go ahead and put them in the oven, and when I get back, I'll tell you for how long I've had them in the oven at 375. All right, everybody. It cooked at 375 degrees for 25 minutes. It was bubbly and hot on the inside. I've already taken one out for a taste test. So, So let's see what it tastes like. Okay, I've got me one out on a plate, and I've already got me a bite already made. I've got some tomato puree on it, and hamburger and mozzarella. That is amazing. That tastes so good. You're not going to be disappointed. The potato is wonderful. There. Y'all are going to love this. Alrighty. Your potato hamburger meatball bake. So easy. So until my next video, happy eating.